What up, guys? It's Rook here, drummer from Machine Gun Kelly, and you're listening to Sellouts, the podcast for MGK fans, by MGK fans, presented by Pink Bucks. Let's go!
I am the Alpha Omega Black Flag Swanger. Welcome to another episode of Sellouts, the podcast for MGK fans, by MGK fans, presented by Pink Bucks. I'm your host, Mike Kyle, and today in the guest chair, we got somebody that I've wanted to talk to since the start of Sellouts, all the way back in October. The one, the only, the king, dare I say, of MGK Facebook groups, Anthony motherfucking Lewis. What's good, Anthony?
Let's go.
How you doing, man?
What's up? Great. I was really excited for this. You know, I've been waiting all week. I didn't think I was ever gonna be on the show. Some of the people that you were interviewing, kind of wanted to get them their shine. I know some of the people you did the thing where you were like asking people who would like to be on the show. There was a lot of people that I was like, yeah, maybe they should get their shot.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of comments and they all wanted me, so I was like, this would be a great time. With the rap album coming right around the corner. With me being one of the well-known people, I was like, you know what, this is probably the time. We should probably do the show.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Again, you've been on the list for a while, and to be honest, I was a little bit scared to ask you, not gonna lie, but the people were clamoring. They said we wanted Anthony, and so god damn it, we got Anthony, guys. So here we are.
Yeah.
And you're a bit of a different case, right? Because it's like just to get it out of the way, yeah, you're absolutely a fan of Kells and the band, but you also know them, right, to a degree. And so this is just kind of like a very more like inside baseball episode a little bit, if you will. So we can still go through, the normal gambit of things, but there's some other things I want to talk to you about because I got you in the chair and I'm going to ask you some questions, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So let's do it, man. First off, were you like a fan first, or did you get to know them and then that's how you were introduced kind of to the music and the whole thing?
All right. So the story how I actually got to meet them is kind of a long. I'm gonna kind of chop it up a little bit.
Cool.
The first time I saw them was the Tech Nine show, the Hostile Takeover tour. And the girl that came with me, she's not a Tech Nine fan at all. So we actually ended up leaving during Tech Nine's set. So when we left, we saw this big ass laced up tour bus, and we were all wearing laced up shirts. So we were like, let's take a picture in front of the tour bus. Well, we go around to the other side of the tour bus, and Kells is out there. So we got to meet him that night. He was really cool. It was great. So fast forward probably 3 or 4 years later, I moved to Las Vegas, and I went to a show out here, and they actually remembered me from back in Baltimore 3 years later, or 3 years prior. So I met Rook that day, and I met Dre that day. So just from being a fan to actually them remember me, I was like, wow, that's amazing that they can remember one person 3 years later that was a fan, And actually, on my Facebook memories, it was 6 years ago today that I met them. So it's kind of like kind of crazy that this is happening right now,
Yeah, absolutely. And then so I think that's cool, right? So you meet Kells, and at that point, so you were a fan first before anything else.
Yeah.
You said you went to
Definitely,
that concert, wearing your lace-up shirts and things of that nature. So fan first, and I think it's cool, right? And it sounds like the way that this kind of all transpired was you meet Kells originally, and then you meet Rook and Dre, and it just kind of snowballed from there, where if you ever met up or you saw them in concert the next time, you'd meet somebody else new, and then that's kind of how it all how it all started.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so that, if we're talking Tech Nine, that's what, 2012? That, because that is literally during the Lace Up tour. That was, he toured with Tech Nine that year.
Right. So, yeah, 2012, yep.
Yeah, and so we got another OG.
11 years ago.
We got another.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, right? Like 11 years ago, I'm
Yeah.
kind of in the same boat, man. I was 2010, 2011. So from
Yeah.
where we were to where we are right now, how surreal is it?
It's insane. It's insane. I actually got to hang out with Rook and his dad Thursday, and we were kind of talking about like someone asked the question like how did I get to meet them,
Hmm.
and it's just insane that like they are where they are now. That tour they were opening up for Tech Nine, who's an indie rapper. It's not like a huge name, not like a Jay-Z or something like that. So like to see them opening up for someone that's not like a huge name, to them selling out arenas, it's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, and on a personal level, how much like pride do you take in being able to have stuck around through the entire thing? Because I know people that where I know on a similar boat that did fall off,
Hmm.
whereas people like us, we were able to kind of see it through all the way to the mountaintop. So on that personal level, how do you feel about it all?
Um, I mean, it's wild. You meet some of these people, and it's like I've been to every tour except for the no low
Hmm.
class tour.
Hmm.
That was the only tour that I didn't go on, and it's crazy that every show that I see, there's people and they're saying, "This is my first time seeing him live," and I'm like, man, like you're in for a show. I mean, this guy is probably, as far as rap music goes, the best live performer I've ever seen. So to see people, and it's like this is my first show. I'm like, man, this is like number 60 for me.
Hmm.
Like the next one will be number 60.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's again, it just doesn't feel real.
The
It,
next
it
one for
doesn't
you is
feel
number
real. Like
60? Wait, hang on, that's not an exaggeration. The
the
next show for you is number 60?
next one's number 60. Yep.
Do we have tickets for that already? Do we know where it's going to be? Do we need to throw a party? Anthony 60 a show? We can get bottle service, have the big like flashing sign.
Oh man. Honestly, I don't know where it's gonna be. I see that they're going to be in a festival in Virginia Beach.
Hmm.
My dad's side of the family is from that area, so I want to make it to that. But it was such short notice. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
So if I don't make it to that show, then we have no idea when the next one is
Yeah,
going to
right.
be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got really nothing here confirmed for the States this year, So,
yeah,
he's spending the majority of the summer overseas in Europe. Just doing like that same kind
yeah,
of festival tour that he did in South America. Very, very similar kind of style of thing
right,
that he's doing this year. But yeah, dude, I wanted to go to Virginia Beach. It's only a short drive from me here in Charlotte, North Carolina. But dude, like they weren't.
yeah,
They only did like such a limited quantity of like single day passes, and so now if you go, you have to buy like the full thing, and it's like $500 plus travel. Well, probably not.
yeah,
Probably not. So, uh,
Uh, yeah.
60.
Especially coming from Las Vegas,
Yeah,
it's I don't know if I'm going to make
yeah.
that one.
Number 60 will have to wait, but in due time, we're for sure gonna get there, man. Six, six,
It'll be there.
60 shows, like that's unfathomable to me. What's your
Mm.
favorite part about MGK concerts?
Oh man, it's there's so many. I think my favorite part would be um, the line traps. Getting there early and then meeting everybody. Most of the people that do get there early, they're obviously there for him. It's not like someone dragged them out there to be there. So we all have these type of vibes where it's like, we're here for a good time. We're here to meet people. We're here to party.
Hmm.
Like it's unheard of. If you go to a show and you've never been to a line trap, I suggest you do it. Um, Certain shows, such as like the Cleveland shows, people will camp out the night before. Um, Usually, what I do is I make sure everybody has drinks and stuff,
Mhm.
because it's these shows are starting to get packed. They're starting to get crazy. I see people passing out all the time, so I want to make sure everybody's like ready for the show. You know, people that do these line trips, sometimes they're not ready. It's their first show. Sometimes, you know, and then they get inside and they don't even make it. Like the Las Vegas show, there was people that stayed out there all night and they didn't even make it to Kel's set, and it was like devastating. I was like, man, they did all this and didn't even make it for the show, So
Mhm.
I always try to make sure everybody's taken care of as far as food and drinks and stuff. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And doing that, I guess, repeatedly and just kind of like traveling, because we do have a pretty good group of EST that travels well, I'd say. Have you been able to
yes,
like have you been
yeah,
able to like reconnect and really like form friendships with a lot of like those people that you see, in several places several times a year?
so many. There's a huge group of us. My first double Xmas was in 2017, um, and that double Xmas connected me with so many people. So now, like, there's a good group of us, and we're always like, all right, we're going to be at this show, we're going to be at that show, we're going to be at that show. So make sure you guys set your calendars, and we're going to be at these shows. So it's always the Cleveland show every year. We always do that one. Um, and then usually we try to set them close to the Cleveland dates so that we can like do like 5 shows and then end them at Cleveland. So um, I know some of them live in the Chicago area, so we'll do like Wisconsin, Chicago, Detroit. We'll do those shows and then end it in Cleveland.
Yeah, and just kind of do like the typical Midwest run.
Yeah, but I think the Hotel Diablo tour was actually different because he ended that tour in LA. And me living in Las Vegas, I think we just did like we did I think it was Anaheim, and then we went to Las Vegas and then San Francisco and then ended it in LA. So
Yeah. And
Hotel Diablo was a little different.
yeah, and speaking of Vegas, man, being in that spot specifically, that's such a cool spot for music because you do have the ability, right? You can go to Phoenix, you can go to LA, you can go to different parts of California, and obviously Vegas has its own,
Right.
slew of entertainment value there as well. So you're being able to, see
Hmm.
these guys and kind of catch up with them, honestly, probably like several times a year. So, you just said
Yeah.
Rook was just in town, in Vegas. You're able to kind of meet him and, catch up. What's that like for you at this point to where, when they're coming into town and, you get to kick it with them for, a day or two?
Oh man, it's so like this past time they were all here. I didn't even know they were going to be here, or I didn't know Rook was. They advertised that his dad was going to be performing actually in the same casino that I work at. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go pop in. Um, so I just decided to message Rook, and I'm like, hey, are you going to be out there? And he was like, yeah, I'm running late, but I'll be there. And I'm like, let's go. But it's like it's crazy living in Las Vegas. Like you said. They do come here often. Like, he was here on my birthday weekend, and he actually reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm in town if you want to hang out." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's actually my birthday." So, I'm excited to do that. And that was like it's unreal, Like we said at the beginning of the show, I started out as a fan. So it's still unreal that, they reach out to me sometimes. I don't even have to, and it's crazy. Um, Something I wanted to share. Um, I was waiting for the opportunity to do it, but I guess now is the time.
There we go.
Um, the last time I talked to Rook, on Thursday, he did say that one of the things that he liked about me was that like he can tell me things and he knows that I'm gonna go again being an admin on a Facebook group. I'm gonna go and tell them, look, like, this is coming from their side, this is where things are at, and so a lot of times I'm going to get more inside information because of that. So it's great that he does trust me to be the one to say, look, this is coming from Kells, this is where we're at as far as like the hip hop album, you know this is where we're at, you know we're gonna get these things at this time, be patient. And then on the opposite side, me being a fan, I can relay their sides of messages to them as well, so that was one thing that Rook did say, and I'm like, man, that makes me feel good. I can be that middleman from the fan side and their side. So it's like, that's something special that not many people could say they have.
If anybody's a big sports fan, you're basically the Adam Schefter
Yeah.
of the band. You got the hashtag
Yeah.
sources, man. You got the inside scoop.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's something that I never thought I would have, from the beginning.
Yeah,
So,
and it's cool that they do like trust you like with that information, and they kind of like gave you that role. And the one thing about this band is, and honestly, it's kind of all of them more or less. They're all
hmm
extremely online. They may not comment
yeah,
on any and everything, but they have eyes in every single goddamn direction.
they sure do. They sure do. It's insane the amount of stuff that they know that we post or we complain about, that we gripe about,
Hmm.
or that we love. It's insane that they know everything. I was trying to show him some of the stuff that like people were doing as far as like I don't know, well, you're in the Facebook group that I run, so
Hmm.
you know that I've been doing the weekly or the daily posts to try to get everybody ready and prepared for what's going to
Hmm.
happen next, with the rock albums blowing up as much as they did. Some of the fans don't even know that he was a rapper,
Yeah.
and it's kind of crazy. So I've been trying to prepare everybody for the transition, so that way they're not shocked, or they're not like surprised that like he's going to this gritty rap.
Hmm. Yeah, and
So
I love, to me, like that's one of my favorite things that I've seen like in that group. Like the stuff you're doing there, and it's just like
yeah.
pulling out the deep cuts or pulling out like the stuff where it's like this is what we're going back to, just to kind
Yeah.
of make sure that everybody's kind of like on
hmm
the same page. And honestly, you're building a lot of hype and excitement just from like the OGs
Yeah.
who do want that next rap album. So I mean, that's crushing, man.
Right.
Keep going with it.
Right. And I've mentioned a couple times the rap album that's coming, but don't get me wrong. I love my tickets to my downfall. I love
Hmm.
my mainstream sellout. I love
Hmm.
that too. So
Hmm. The
just because I started with the rap and I'm excited for the rap does not mean I don't like that rock,
uh-huh.
because it's great. And I'm happy that he did that, because I grew up on Blink 182 and Sum 41. So for him to do something like that, my favorite artist,
Hmm.
that's insane.
Yeah.
And for him to get two number one albums, yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's like a
good. Finish
go
up.
ahead, go
No,
ahead.
I was gonna say
Oh,
it's nuts. Like to think of where we were even just in 2019 with Hotel Diablo,
yeah,
which we all love that album. You know, to
love it.
where that blew up 2 years later. And
hmm
it's not even that I want to say totally different sound, because we've known, especially like through Bloom and some of the other stuff, that he's been capable of doing it. But it's like
Right, right,
I love that you said as much as I love the rap, I'm still like so glad that we got what we got, because this shit just
right.
bangs.
It does. It does. I can't say you took the words out of my mouth. It bangs.
Hmm. My Anthony, my only gripe with you, and this is just me poking fun, was that I think it might have been
hmm
like a few months ago or so. You made a post and you're like, move away from the color pink. You're like, I'll go to green, go to orange, go somewhere else. I have too much
Yes.
pink, and I'm over here thinking like, God, no, don't do that. No, 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 no.
Yeah, I actually thought about your show, kind of like right after I said it. I was like, man, like, there's a lot of people that have dedicated so much to the pink.
Hmm.
So, I just looked at my closet and I'm like, man, everything I own is pink.
Hmm.
Like let's go something else. Like my favorite color is orange, so I throw the orange out there.
Hmm.
But I was like, man. maybe a green era. Like I wouldn't mind having like a bunch of green in my closet too, you know. So,
It is
but yeah, that's funny.
it is
I'm glad you
crazy.
saw that though.
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw. I made note of that real quick, real quick. It is crazy, right? Just how much like this thing really did take over. Like it's like Pink wise, right? If we just want to like just stay on this
Yeah.
point for a bit and then we'll shift into something else. It's the question I get
Mm.
asked the most is like, well, what happens if he moves away from Pink? And I'm like, it's just like the name of the brand. Like it's what we're at. Like we're sure it's
Yeah.
always going to be at our core. But if you think of like right sports
Hmm.
teams, right? You're in Vegas, right? We got the Raiders and we got
Right.
the Golden Knights out there. You know, what if we
Hmm.
did like for example, if we did like a Las Vegas Raiders drop where we could do like a
Yeah.
black and silver jersey and the trim on it is pink. Or if we want to go with the green, we can still do things where pink is like the third color in it and the drop is based around the color green. Guys,
Right.
it's
Right.
it's okay if he moves from color pink. We'll be okay. I promise. So I just want to take that opportunity to get that out there. We got plans in place, baby.
Yeah, that's good that you said that because again, when I made that post, I immediately thought about you, and I was like, man, like, like this whole show is, it's called Pink Fox, so it's
Hmm.
like, you know, but again, something that we do as fans is we kind of like separate his growth into eras.
Hmm.
So even if he does graduate like or gravitate away from the pink, it's still an era, and there's still a bunch of people who came during this era, so it'll never go away. The pink is here to stay, even
Yeah.
if it does leave, it doesn't actually leave,
Yeah, absolutely. And you were the third person that has brought up the idea of eras, which is something that I
Hmm.
haven't like really thought of in that way outside of just like the basic outside of like the basic separation of we have
Yeah.
anything basically pre 2021 and then anything after 2021. But if we were to really just kind of go through it,
Mm.
right, we have like the OG, like we have the mixtape era, then we have the Lace Up, General Admission,
Yeah.
and honestly, every album now that I'm going through it is its own era. So for you, and
Yeah.
obviously things are different and they're better for a whole list of reasons, and it may be a little worse for
Mm.
another, is what it is. What are some of your favorite eras?
Oh man.
And they're all great for the record. That's not to say that
So
one is better, but you
the,
guys get what I'm saying.
right, right. Um, I think as much as I don't want to say it, I think the Bloom era to me
Hmm.
was probably the best. Um, Only because, me being one of the OG fans, I started listening to him in 2011, and that time I just didn't really find EST
Hmm.
until Bloom came out. Um, Actually, my first viral video was again 6 years ago today, when I recorded him performing Trap Paris for the first time. No one's heard the song, um, so I just recorded it while he was performing it, and it went viral. I want to say Casey was his photographer at the time, and he shared it, and then it just blew up from there. Um, so that was my first viral video. And then I started meeting people in EST, and I always knew EST was a thing, but I didn't realize how big it was until then. I started meeting people. I started going to the shows. Again, 2017 was my first double Xmas. Um, and then I went to my first EST Fest in 2018. So that was the era where I really got to meet the people, and I really got to enjoy everybody and where they're coming from on their side and how they became a fan. So, Blue Marrow is probably the one that means the most to me.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into kind of talking about EST as a whole. So, just like a
Yeah.
very like simple yet impossible question is what is
Mm.
EST and the fans, what does that all mean to you?
Um, I guess it means like literally what it says. EST is everyone stands together, and there's countless times where someone's needed help. I think my first act of EST was again during this time. I had some friends and they were traveling uh, for Kells and they got stuck in a state and they didn't have a car, they didn't have a way to the airport. So um, I made a post and a couple of us put some money together. We got them all flights to get them to where they needed to go. And that to me is what EST is about. Like when he made this flag and he put these words on it, he was trying to change the world and he can't do it himself. So the fact that he has this fan base and we rep it to the fullest and we show each other love and support, that's changing the world. And that's what EST is. Everyone stands together. It literally means that.
Hmm. Absolutely, and there's nothing I could say that'll top that will top that. But there's something I want to talk to you off air when it comes to kind of things of that nature. So I'll give you the inside scoop on that when we get off this.
Awesome.
Cool. Let's wrap it up with this, Anthony, because we could be here forever. Legitimately, like this is a podcast where it's
We
like,
could.
we could be here for hours. So maybe at some point in the
We
future,
could.
we'll have you back on for sure. Maybe when the rap album drops, first guest after the album drops. Who's to say, right? So let's
Yeah.
wrap.
Hey, I,
Good.
I'm always down. So I don't really do anything on the weekdays. So I'm always available for interviews or any questions that you do have. You can always DM me.
Cool, man.
I'm always open for this.
Cool. Gotcha. Thankful for that. Appreciate that a lot. So let's close it out with this,
Yeah, no
dude.
worries.
We got 5 rapid fire MGK questions for you. All right. It's not this or
All
that.
right.
I'm sorry. It's not trivia. It's not a gotcha game. It's a this or that. So let's get into it. All right. Pink
All
guitar from
right.
pink guitar from Tickets or black guitar from Mainstream Sellout.
Black guitar.
Ooh, nice little contrarian there. I like that a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
if you can only keep one MGK album, which one are you keeping?
Oh, general admission.
General admission, nice. If you can only keep one MGK mixtape, which one, slash EP, which one are you taking?
Hmm. I do love some fuck it, but it's got to be Black Flag.
There we go. Uh, for the upcoming rap album, if he could collab with any other artist, who would you want to see on the album?
All right, man.
Also, if you have some inside
I'm
knowledge on this, like Pink Fuck's exclusive?
I'm gonna give you two.
Okay.
Um, I really want to collab with J. Cole.
Okay.
Um, I know I seen some videos of him at the JID concert with the Earth Gang and all them. So I'm like, man, he's at the Dreamville concert, so maybe he can get the leader of Dreamville, the
Hmm.
leader of EST and the leader of Dreamville. So hopefully a J. Cole. Um, but the other person will be Polo G. I think their styles kind of are different, but in the same. So Polo G and J. Cole.
Yeah. Being in North Carolina here, I would love to see that collab. Would love to see that collab between him and Cole. All right,
Yeah.
let's go. Final question here. I asked this somebody earlier. I'm very curious to know your take. If somebody has never listened to an MGK song before, and sure it's dependent upon what kind of music they like and their style, but let's just go then. What are the top 3 songs that you're sending them?
Ooh, I'm glad you said three because there's definitely
That's why I
more.
opened it up. That's why I
Um,
opened it up.
all right. So as far as people who just like raw talent and lyrics, Alpha Omega, um, that's the one where most people are like, man, what's a song that I need to hear? I tell them Alpha Omega. So that's number one. Um, Number two, um, my personal favorite, it's just a banger. El Diablo. That's the one where I got to put it in the car. I got to turn it full volume. You know, just rock to that. And then the third one, it's the first song that I did. Remember, I said I did the series where I was trying to explain to some of the newer fans where the older fans are coming from. Number three is "See My Tears." That's one where he put the fans tattoos in the videos. He had fans in the video. So the third one would probably have to be "See My Tears."
And there we have it. Dude, that's one hell of a top three. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Anthony Lewis. Dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast,
Thank you.
man.
Lace up.
Lace up, EST
It was a
for
pleasure.
life. Thanks, dude.
EST for life.
Thank you all so much for
Thank
watching
you.
or listening, whether that was on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or over on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe so you don't miss another episode, and you can use promo code SELLOUTS at checkout at pinkfucks.com to receive 10% off of your purchase. We will see you in the next episode.